Hello, dear senior students. How are you? I hope you're doing well, that everything's going well with you and your families. In today's video, we are going to do a lot of practice. We are going to practice with the integrated task, the campus, and the academic situation. So I'm gonna help you through the exercises so you can have ideas, and that's gonna help you to complete the parts from the book that I have asked you to complete. Let's start. In your book, in pages 350, 351, and 352, you are going to find at the bottom of the page a space. In this space is where we are going to write the answers that we are going to find in this video. Okay, so you will write here at the bottom of the page the introduction, the development, and the conclusion of this exercise. Let's start with that.
The University of the Rockies is planning to make a change in the number of required courses in physical education. Read the president's quote taken from his interview with the reporter from the student newspaper. Begin reading now.
Okay, remember you have 45 seconds to read. The paragraph says, the reality is that physical education courses are not considered to be essential by students themselves, who resent having so many required courses when they want to concentrate on their major subject. This requirement almost seems like a continuation of high school requirements. We believe that students should take responsibility for their own physical condition. Money saved from reducing the number of physical education courses offered will be helpful in updating our science and computer labs, as well as going toward more acquisitions for the library.
Now listen to two students as they discuss the quote.
What do you think about the university dropping its physical education requirement?
I'm torn about it, really. In one way, it's true that students should take the responsibility of keeping fit. But how can we if money isn't put into the facilities?
But the president didn't say anything about not putting money into the facilities. He said that the money that's saved from courses that'll no longer be taught would be put elsewhere.
True, but I can't help but think some of our sports programs are going to be affected.
This will only be the loss of some courses. So, what are the programs? What programs are you concerned about?
Well, the women's varsity soccer team, for one. They've worked hard to get any university support at all and are just getting the recognition they deserve.
I hardly think that they'll be affected.
Don't be so sure. Fewer classes will result in a cut in the number of instructors, and that can't help but affect the different programs that are run by those particular instructors.
The woman expresses her opinion of what the president was quoted to have said to the reporter. State her opinion and explain the reasons she gives for holding that opinion.
Okay, so here you need to state the woman's opinion and explain the reasons that she gives. Now, this is a possible answer. It can vary according to you. So an introduction would be the following. There are two students talking about what the president of the university said in an interview given to a reporter of the student newspaper. Here we state or we describe the situation. Then in the development, this is another possible answer. The man agrees with what the president said. However, the woman disagrees for the following reasons. First, she thinks the sports programs will be affected. For example, the women's soccer team. Finally, she mentions that cutting classes means cutting instructors too, which will affect other programs as well. Now, the conclusion is going to be optional. You can add it depending on how much time you have left. Let's continue with page 351.
4. The maintenance department has announced that the main classroom building will be undergoing some changes. Read the announcement about the renovation. You have 45 seconds to read the announcement. Begin reading now.
Okay, here we have another paragraph that is an announcement, and it says, during the summer session, classes will be held in the geology complex, while the main classroom building is being renovated. When the renovation is completed, each room will be equipped with state-of-the-art equipment, such as computers that will allow teachers to project their lecture notes and supporting data onto a screen. Some of the classrooms will be turned into multimedia labs, although the building has already been made accessible for the disabled. Further improvements will be made to provide even better access to all classrooms. Motion sensors will be installed that turn lights on and off to conserve energy.
Now listen to two students as they discuss the announcement.
That'll be really great, won't it? All the classrooms will be high-tech.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe? I really like a professor to give a lecture with all sorts of neat computer slides to project on the screen, don't you?
Well, yeah, when it works. But how often have you been excited about doing something special in a lab and the technology failed?
Not that often. It does have to be maintained, though.
And upgraded. Technology becomes obsolete very quickly.
True.
I've also seen a lot of student presentations using technology that were all showy with animation, but no content. It's a big expense, for something that won't be used all that much.
Why don't you think it'll be used?
Well, first, lots of professors aren't high-tech minded and won't bother with learning how to use it. Besides, it's very time-consuming to make a good computer presentation. The best professor I've had here, Dr. Rosa, doesn't even use an overhead projector.
Yeah, well, she's kind of exceptional.
The woman expresses her opinion of the announcement made by the university's maintenance department. State her opinion and explain the reasons she gives for holding that opinion.
Okay, again, the task here is to state the woman's opinion and explain the reasons that she gives. Remember, you have 30 seconds to prepare the answer and then 60 seconds to give it or to record it in the test. Here is a possible introduction. In the conversation, two students are discussing an announcement about a renovation in the main classroom building. Now the development. I'm going to help you with part of it. The man seems excited about the renovation, but the woman doesn't, and she expresses the following reasons. Now, by your own, please state her reasons. And then the conclusion is optional. If you want to add a conclusion, it's okay. Let's look at the last exercise, page 352.
5. Now read the passage about marine organisms known as phytoplankton. You will have 45 seconds to read the passage. Begin reading now.
Okay, so here we have an academic topic. This is not a campus situation anymore like the two previous exercises. This one is about a lecture. It's related to a biology class, a marine biology class. Let's read the paragraph. Inhabiting the photic zone, that upper layer of water where sunlight penetrates the world's oceans, phytoplankton provide the basis of almost all marine life. Found in greater abundance near the land masses, where there is a concentration of nutrients in the water, these single-cell plants enrich the food chain. Sunlight provides them with the energy needed for photosynthesis, turning the phosphates and nitrates in the water and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere into the molecules that they live on. The byproduct of photosynthesis is oxygen. It is estimated that 75% of the world's oxygen is produced by phytoplankton. Phytoplankton usually go unnoticed until physical conditions cause some species to bloom a phenomenon known as the red tide.
Now listen to part of a lecture on ocean plants in a marine biology class.
Okay, I'd like to discuss an interesting study being done on phytoplankton. I think we all know that phytoplankton is an important nutrient in the ocean's food chain, as well as understand its importance in producing oxygen. This study, the study I want to present, was based on the observation that in some areas of the ocean, there's plenty of sunlight and nitrogen compounds for a successful photosynthesis. However, there's only a small amount of phytoplankton. So an analysis was done on the water, and this analysis indicated a lack of iron. We know that iron is a trace mineral that even humans need. It was hypothesized that phytoplankton also need iron. I won't go into full detail, but a small section of one area in the ocean was seeded with iron sulfate. The resulting increase of phytoplankton provided convincing evidence for the hypothesis. Now, this finding opens up several possibilities. Since phytoplankton take carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere, an increase of the plants could remove a significant amount of human-produced carbon dioxide from the atmosphere faster and more effectively than other alternatives. An increase in the plants could also be followed by an increase of marine life along the food chain that ultimately comes to feed people. However, there are unanswered environmental questions that would need to be addressed before phytoplankton farms could be considered.
The professor describes an experiment done on phytoplankton. Explain how the implications of this experiment relate to phytoplankton.
Maybe you are going to say, or you're going to think that this is complicated. However, you will see that in our answer, we're not going to use complicated or technical language. Now, what is going to be the introduction in this case? We're going to say in the lecture, the professor is talking about the importance of phytoplankton. The development. She mentions this is a key nutrient in the food chain. Also, she explains an experiment based on the idea that phytoplankton needs iron to increase. These are the implications. Now, in this part is where we answer the question that we were given. First, iron was put in areas where phytoplankton increased a lot. This proved the hypothesis. Then, if phytoplankton increases, marine life will increase too. Finally, this will benefit humans as well with the increasing of fish. Now you see, we're not using complicated language. We are summarizing the information in our own words. Finally, the conclusion is going to be optional, depending on how much time you have. Well, this is all for today, boys and girls. When you finish, remember to send me the pictures of your work. And if you have any questions or doubts, you can contact me and I'll be helping you as soon as possible. Okay, well, if you have any questions or doubts, please contact me through WhatsApp and I'll be happy to help you. Take care, boys and girls. God bless you. Bye-bye.